Hey guys, how are you? I'm so excited to let you not guys in on this. I have created a tarot deck package section on my Etsy shop. The link tree, you should see the information below. And what it is that it is the holidays coming. I just wanted to try this out also, see how it works for you guys. I wanted to give people an incentive because I feel like some of these decks are not your standard type of deck because every deck I make is kind of different. But we are going to dive in. I believe I have 8 listings. So we are going to go through them, each of them, so you can see the cards. But you can always check on my YouTube, my self-created playlist. You can see the individual cards. Now, mind you, all these packages, all these cards are just going to come shrink wrapped. The timing on the listing, I do put 2 to 3 weeks because the company is from China, which I don't understand that. I think the company is in China, but their dispensary sections are within the States. So we try to put 2 to 3 weeks because I feel like in my experience, when I've ordered for myself, it takes like a week to process and then it'll come into 2 weeks from that time. So just be mindful of that when you select your particular decks. So with further ado, we're going to go through the decks. I may actually timestamp each section if you actually come across it, so you can see which they are. So the first one that I have listed is my first creation duel. So my first creation duel, meaning this is my first deck ever I created ever. I do have 17 decks listed on my Etsy. There are other decks that I've done, but I haven't printed them as of yet. But you could definitely check my Instagram and Facebook. I do send to some post images of the creations that I'm doing. So the WitcheryGoddess deck is an oracle deck. It consists of 54 cards. Now, if you know about tarot consists of 78 cards. So my 54 oracle deck, this was like when you're like really surrendering and stepping into your power, in a sense of like, okay, I want to do a deck. So I did this one. And this was when me trying to learn the format of how to create a deck, what was working for me, what doesn't. And this deck, I find that it surprised me when it came home to me. It has strong energy. So if you feel a little prickly feeling when you open them, it is natural. That is my energy. And that's why it's priced a certain way for individual. And this has happened to other people as well. They felt the energy, the strong energy in this card, these deck. So the Path to Enlightenment Tarot is, I'm going to show you the difference. Show you what it is. But this is more woman influence because, I think we're shifting into the energy of being into our divine feminine power, getting out of, I guess you could say, patriarchy. So, because standard tarot is more male influence. So this is the deck that I've created this way. So these two individual, how do I have it written? So again, all my decks, if it's coming in the tarot packages, are going to be shrink wrapped. They're not coming with any bags or anything separate from whatever listed individual. This is your deal. This individual are $60. You're getting this for $100, both of them. And so this is my first creation duel. So these are the cards for the oracle. I'm just showing you a little bit. You can go again into like my playlist to see all the cards, all the images. So this is the actual oracle. The difference, if you see, like, I don't know if you can really see the texture. This is like a standard type of deck. See? Standard. This, see how it pops? This is Superior Smooth and has a gloss finish. So those are little, I don't know if you don't realize, sometimes when we do it, take it up a notch, Those are a little more pricier because where it's coming from. But anyway, so these in itself, you would get, if you choose to have both of them, $100. Now, I believe each of them are like 60. So you see how we have them like this with the background. See? So this is my first creation duel. So now we're gonna go into my next set. Hey, if you just jumped into this particular timestamp, this is my first creation trio, in which you're gonna get my first ever oracle deck, my first created tarot deck, and this was just something I just did recently, Lenormand deck. So this is something, if you actually gravitate to Lenormand, this is separate than tarot. So again, this was my first ever one when I started my spiritual awakening, when I started to learn how to create cards. Then I wanted to do a tarot card deck, so I did that. You know, tarot decks are 78 cards. So at that time, when you're learning just how to do it, this is what I created. These are your oracle decks. You can definitely look at my playlist to look at the self-created decks to see all the images of this. And this is my Path to Enlightenment Tarot. And these are like more women influence. See? I want to go through all of them. But anyway, then here's our King of Pentacles. We have my Lenormand deck. Traditional Lenormand, because you may see them in like Lenormand have extra layer of cards. They are 36 cards. So the Lenormand deck that I created is a little like fantasy type base imagery. I'm just trying to put this in order. Give me 1 second. So these are smaller, obviously, compared to this. So these two are a standard smooth finish. These are a gloss finish. They pop a little more. You will get all these shrink wrap. I keep on mentioning that these are gonna come to shrink wrap if you choose my first creation trio. So these are the Lenormand decks. See, it's more little fantasy type of themes here going on. So my first creation duel, the oracle and the tarot are individually priced for $60. And the Lenormand deck is priced for $35, which will total $155, right? But if you get them, all three of them, you would be getting them for $140. So this is my first creations trio package. So definitely, if you're interested in the other decks, please feel free to look at the other decks that I have. So there you go. So let's move on. Okay guys, so now we're gonna go to the third package, which is the Badass Chronicles plus the Seed of Truth, but it's called Badass plus Seed of Truth in a package. So these are again going to come to you shrink wrapped. These are just a regular standard smooth. I'm trying to recall how many. I think this has 48 cards or 40 something cards in each. I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. This is like a little contradiction because the Seeds of Truth is learning the truth of a matter possible of a connection. You see how it says new love, unhappily ever after, commitment phobia, or whatever. These have these type of descriptions. Badass Chronicles is a person, and it was inspired by Truth Hurts. Like, you know, you're a big, like a boss ass bitch. Like, you don't need someone. You may have severed a connection. You're doing your own thing. So this is, you have, do I know you? I reject bullshit. See that? I'm not going to say them all. So basically, this is another one that, you know, I was inspired to do. So within individually, the Badass is $45. The Seed of Truth is $45. So that's priced at $85 if you were to get them individually, right? You're getting these two for $75. So this is the Seed the Badass plus Seed of Truth package. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So we're looking at my fourth package, which is the messages duel. You'll be getting the morning coffee messages and the divine connection messages second edition. Now I have two editions. This one includes, I believe, I'm trying to recall the amount. I think it was 24 cards in the first, because that was me, you know, testing the waters with messages. So this second edition includes the 24 messages from the first deck. So this is a total of 70 cards. And this is split between the perspective of a divine masculine and divine feminine. And the divine masculine is in black lettering. The divine feminine is in red lettering. And you have yellow confirmation cards. Now, depending if you're using it for a reading, it doesn't really have to be like vice versa. This is how I created it. So you could see, I do think about you. Miss you more than you know. I am so lucky to have you. Trying to give you some other ones. So you have confirmations here. So you can definitely look at the Divine Connection Messages playlist. I believe they're both of them are together or separate, the first and second edition. I can't recall off the top of my head. These are 74 cards. The morning coffee messages, I think, are 54 cards, but these are a little different. I always wanted like a typical, like a timing card. Never seen this. So these have months, right? Like 12 months, obviously. Then this, you have numbers from day 1 through 31. And you can take that, however, if you're doing a reading 3 weeks, months, you know, you can add them up. If, say, for instance, you had 25, could be 7. Then you have other confirmations. A week from now, I think this weekend, this month, and the days of the week. So these are kind of different. So the messages dual, the Divine Coffee messages individually will be $44, and Divine Connection second edition is $40. So they will be priced $84. So I am putting them for $75. Okay. So again, this is an actual, these are all coming shrink wrapped, okay, to you. So that is the messages dual is the listing for these two. So we are going to move on to our dark theme dual. So the dark theme dual, I wanted to put these two cards together because the Live in the Darkness is an oracle. It is 81 cards. I think it's 80 cards because the last card is like a little description of the meaning of the deck itself. But what it is that this is like your blocks, your shadows, if you're using it for that. But it looks like it has some imagery like Halloween type. And then this one, the Rose Tarot, has rose aspects in it, obviously. But it also has more like a gothic theme. They also are the same texture in a sense that these are superior smooth. They're not as gloss finish. They feel like a matte finish. So I wanted to put these two together. So if you were to choose this dark theme dual as a package, just be mindful they do both come shrink wrapped to you for this deal. So the I Live in the Darkness comes at $65 individual, and the Rose Tarot is $55.89. So if you get them together, you are getting them for $100. So definitely check out my playlist to see the individual cards. But I'll just show you a little bit. You see how we have different ones. You can use them for block readings, or even when you're, you know, Halloween or you're into that season. So that's this particular deck here. And now the Rose Tarot, it's, you know, let's see, it has different stuff. Like, they just blend well together if you were into like a visual person and how you, when you do your spreads, or just because you like this type of theme. So this is this particular deck. So now I do have a dark theme trio, so we're gonna get into that. Okay, so the dark theme trio is going to be given to you if you choose this package. They're come all shrink wrapped. You would be getting this package for $145. The I Live in the Darkness is $65 individually. The Rose is $55.89. The Seeds of Truth is $40. So that is like $160. But you would get this for $145. I wanted to put these together because I live in the darkness and the Rose Tarot do blend together because of the Halloween. This one is more of a blocks, darkness type of oracle deck. And this is like a rose influence, but has a gothic theme to it. And the Seeds of Truth, you may be using this for a particular what's the block. So you'll see these things here, like themes going on, and you can use these for like the blocks, basically. See, it has particular things here. I was trying not to go into it because you can check the dark theme trio when I went through them, but you could definitely check the playlist for each individual, all my 17 decks that I have. There are additional decks that I have not released yet. You can always check my Facebook or Instagram looking at my creations that I just haven't submitted for printing yet. So this is your dark theme duel that will be priced at $145. Okay, so we have my mature audience lovers. We have the original mature audience. We have the mature audience holiday edition. I am not going to go through each of these cards because usually when I put these cards, I tend to center it over 18. So look at the individual playlist for mature audience for both of them. You can see the individual cards, okay? So this individually are priced at $70, but if you get them two together, you're getting them for $120. They will be coming to you shrink wrap, just letting you know. These both have a gloss finish. So, you know, if you're new to the cards, they may slip after a while, meaning like, you know, when you have like gloss type of cards, it take a while, like, because you just got them to get used to them to break them in. So this is the more mature audience package. I do have if you looked at my Facebook or Instagram, I do show my future creations. I do have a mature audience Valentine edition, so I'm thinking of putting this in. Once I release it, I may add a trio for that, so definitely check that out. So we are gonna go to our last final package. So if you have actually gone through this whole video and was with me on this journey of feeling like I'm a broken recorder, well, thanks for watching. So this is actually my last package deck. This is kind of like what inspired me to make packages because they're like a holiday cards, right? The Mature Audience Tarot Holiday Edition, I'm not really going to go through each card. Check the playlist because when I do post these type of videos with these type of cards, they're not so much explicit, but I do put like 18 plus on it. So you can definitely check them out. This deck is the Mature Audience Holiday Edition. We do have an original, so definitely check that out. And I must have not shown you. So this is the cover of the Here Comes the Holidays Christmas Songs Tarot deck. So as you see, each particular card has a song and the name of the card, like the Lovers, High Priestess, Hierophant. They all are the same. It just has a different song. And as I mentioned before, you know, when you're doing a Christmas song deck, Christmas is supposed to be so jolly, and then you have certain dark cards have negative meanings. Now that was kind of interesting trying to do this deck. But anyway, as you know, this is a tarot deck, so they're both 78 cards. They do both have the gloss finish, so I wanted to pair it for you guys. The Christmas songs individually is $60. The Mature Audience Holiday is $70. So, and that is combined $130. So I wanted to give it to you guys for $110. So depending on where you looked at all these listings, bear in mind again, this is shrink wrapped. I just want to mention because this is a holiday edition and these are for Christmas. So I feel like if you want these for Christmas, you may want to purchase them earlier because these are printed. Don't ask me how this hat works, but the company is through China, right? But they must have distributions in a state, but I think they take a week to process and then 2 weeks to ship. So I don't want it to be that although we have a listed 2 to 3 weeks, that's why I say shipping may vary because of the fact, you know, what's going on and, you know, things happen. So if you were trying to get this for someone, I just wanted to let you know that. So you may want to get it earlier. So again, these are all my decks. I am happy to share these packages with you because this is something new for me to do for you guys. I hope you enjoy. And in the future, I may do additional packages depending the turnout. So you guys take care.